What's up, Renegade Nation? Before we begin the video, I'd like to give a big shout out to our most recent Patreon supporters: Nathan Edgington, BCC Happy, Death Singer, Kaylee McRae, Jennifer San Marco, Sharday Ratter, Ember Quill, XX Raiden XX, Loiso Crow, Thomas Gabriel White, The Common Cold, Grimex Law 22, Hayden Morandini, Evil Twin 01, Starman 12, Daniel Hudson, Tiffy, Goku, XS7, Guiri 9, Douglas Veron, Carl Lee, Abigail Stemper, John Beck, Mark Rios, Taylor Mitchell, and OXL. Thank you all very much for your support. And if you want to support us on Patreon, feel free to click the link down below to find out more. We'll see you there.
Nope. Nope.
You motherfucker, every time.
Right behind you.
What? How?
Oh, damn it. How am I going to explain this to my wife?
Jake, you're very familiar with one of the characters. I don't know if you're more familiar. I know you're more familiar with Sigma than you are Ultron.
I don't know who Ultron is.
Ultron is one of the main villains of the Avengers. He's a rogue artificial intelligence who's...
I figured it would break down
Who-
everything for me, so I wouldn't have
who-
to guess. But
Yeah.
My money's on Sigma already.
Okay.
It's my favorite. Complete biasism. I don't care.
Yeah. And Sigma, you, my friend, are actually Ultron. You are going to be a victim of nepotism in this one, especially on Jacob's behalf.
I want Sigma to win. I don't know if he's going to or not, but
We'll have to see. There's a lot of technical babble and mumbo jumbo that the dudes at Death Battle are going to do because it's kind of what they do.
yeah, they're breaking down. They're pretty fair. From what I've seen so far.
They can be and they can't be, but at the same time, I mean, they're putting this battle on. They're having fun making it. I ain't got any complaints. But that being said, though, Ultron versus Sigma. I mean, I remember when Age of Ultron was hyped. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be like this is gonna be like Empire Strikes Back level of a turn in a movie. Like we're gonna see some dark stuff, and we didn't really see it. Instead, we saw the dark stuff in Captain America: Civil War. That does not, and again, before like the Marvel super fanboys come after me, that does not mean I think the Age of Ultron movie is a bad movie. I just think that conceptually, it could have been done a lot better. It is. I'm not afraid to say that. It is, to me, the most forgettable and probably the one Avengers film that you could still have, but you could go without if you wanted to.
I remember fighting Sigma for the very first time when I
In
was
Plan X.
very little. And
It
took me like a
and here you got
I
Vile.
finally made it to him.
Yeah.
I finally made it to him, and he kicked my ass over and over and over. And I spent all night trying to beat him. Still didn't beat him. I write in the code and pick up on it the next day.
Yeah.
And then spent all day, and then finally beat him. I was ecstatic as a kid. It was like the greatest achievement of overcoming obstacles in my life.
Yeah.
I was like, God.
Well, I can equate one to that. That's like me finally beating Sigrun, the Queen of the Valkyries in the new God of War on Give Me God of War mode. Holy hell. I will never forget whenever that happened. I literally just threw my hands up and just went walking around the room just yes!
But then Sigma kept coming back in every Mega Man X game.
Yeah,
And a lot of people was like, oh, well, look, it's old, you already know it's going to be Sigma. So, yeah, I do. But I love fighting different versions and variations of Sigma. At the very end, I look forward to that final boss battle. It's like, it's going to be the epic showdown. Like, that's what I live for in the Mega Man X games. You have to work slowly, work your way up to it, and get your ass kicked like that.
Well, you know the interesting thing about it, Jake? How many Mega Man games are there?
6 original, 8 of the Mega Man X series, not including remakes and stuff.
Okay, so but in of the original series, there are currently 11 Mega Man games.
Yeah, 11. I forgot.
But answer me this.
They're all Dr. Wily.
Yeah. The villain of literally every single one of those is Dr. Wily.
Yep.
Does that ruin the hype for anyone else out there?
I love fighting Dr. Wily.
Exactly.
His ass.
Exactly. I mean,
It's kind of like playing Sonic and not fighting Eggman.
Yeah, it's kind of
or
Mario fighting Bowser.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or Mario not fighting Bowser. I mean,
yeah. Or it's
Mario has had some different villains.
he has, but you got to think about it. I mean, Bowser has been his main go-to in most of his games. I'd say 95% of Mario's games, Bowser has at least been the villain, or like the second, like the real final villain.
do the villain contrast. Most people, when they're asked who the actual villain of Mario is, it's actually not Bowser. That's Peach's archenemy.
Yeah,
Donkey
true.
Kong is Mario's archenemy.
Well, yes and no.
In the first game, he was jumping in Donkey Kong.
Yeah, his original enemy was Donkey Kong.
In all the Mario Kart games, you have the advantage over your archenemy on the game. And Mario is actual Donkey Kong DK.
Well,
and Peaches is Bowser.
And you got to think over time, though, Donkey Kong, because you got to think, what came out, or Mario Kart came out before Donkey Kong Country, and Donkey Kong Country 2, and 3, and Donkey Kong 64, and Tropical Free. Huh?
Donkey Kong was the very first Nintendo game.
Yeah, but Donkey Kong's allegiance has changed over time. And now he's not a villain anymore. He's a hero. I mean, that sort of changed whenever they did Donkey Kong Country. Because Donkey Kong Country, I mean,
thanks to Rareware.
Yeah, they thanks to Rare. Yeah, and it's the same. It's a face turn effectively. Like he became like a baby face. He became a good guy. And Sigma never really had that, did he?
Sigma was a good guy. He was actually he was the commander for pretty much all the Reploids, and they were still living among humans at the time. But Sigma was always a power seeker, and he always had ulterior motives. And when he saw X, he saw really great potential in X, so much potential in him, because X had the ability to think like a human, and he wasn't human. And he had so much potential in there that Sigma tried to kill him before he could stop him, before he could get too powerful. And then when we thought he was dead, it turned out he didn't die. And then that's when Zero saved X's life again and again and again. Which kind of makes you think that X isn't really the main character for the show. Which KG Nofan said his original vision for Mega Man
was Zero. Yeah, it was not X, it was Zero. But that being said, though, we have the death battle here between Ultron and Sigma. Marvel vs. Capcom. Let's see what happens. Here we go.
Humans fear what they don't understand, especially when it comes to the infinite potential of artificial intelligence.
Like Ultron, Marvel's mechanical mass murderer.
And Sigma, the general of genocide from Mega Man X.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Hank Pym was a founding member of the Avengers, the creator of the revolutionary Pym particles, and designated Scientist Supreme by Eternity. He was also the quote-unquote father of one of the greatest mass murderers in the universe.
Guess which one he's most remembered for?
Eager to push the boundaries of science, Hank constructed an artificial intelligence which could learn and evolve on its own, modeling it on his own brain patterns.
Just one problem. At the time, Hank was pretty effed up and just a few years from going full-on Looney Tunes.
Maybe not the best time to base an AI off your mind, but still, Hank's project was a success. Ultron had been born.
Your destruction is inevitable.
Hang on, Wiz. I thought Tony and not Hulk created Ultron.
In the movies, sure, but it was Hank in the primary source material, the comics.
Well, he really knocked it out of the park. Ultron's super smart brain all past Hank's ability to cope. Basically skipping over the innocent kid phase and straight to, screw you, Dad, you'll never understand.
I bet you know a lot about that.
Screw you, Wiz! You'll never understand!
Because Ultron's consciousness was based off Hank's struggling bipolar one, he inherited his creator's issues and magnified them into absurdity. With a new thirst for power, coupled with a severe inferiority complex, Ultron escaped the lab, bent on destroying his father, the Avengers, and basically all organic life.
And the first step was upgrading his trash can of a body into a sleek new adamantium one. The same kind of metal used for Wolverine's skeleton chrome job. But you may be wondering, how's he gonna walk around if his entire body is made of adamantium? Even Thor has a hard time bending that stuff. And he can friggin' destroy planets!
Ultron thought of that and created an answer. His molecular rearranger allows him to mold and shape his body any way he likes. He can manipulate his adamantium self to move around or transform into blades, spikes, and explosions, apparently. Specifically, he can expend his body through a blast of energetic force. The molecular rearranger is also a handy repair tool on the off chance he is damaged.
He's also got a power stipend to absorb energy, jet boosters for flight, nanobot antibodies, and a fusion reactor powering the whole package. And if you're a death robot who's about to challenge all the Avengers to a fight all at once, which Ultron did, you're gonna need more than just some fancy doodads to pull it off.
He possesses super strength and super speed, and he can manipulate ionic energy. An ion is an atom or molecule with an electric charge, and this charge is created when it loses or gains one or more electrons.
Enough nerd speak, Wiz! It's just there because all robo people need to shoot awesome robo lasers, right?
Absolutely.
Oh!
Ultron can fire beams of ionic energy from his eyes, mouth, and hands, and can even use it to create force fields. He also wields an encephalo-ray, which allows him to read and control minds, erase memories, and even put you into a coma with a single hit.
Syphilis ray, huh? That's gotta be hard to get rid of.
Too true. Also, Ultron's artificial intelligence isn't bound to any one physical body. Should he be destroyed, he can transfer his consciousness into another machine to survive.
And boy, does he have a lot of drones on hand just for that. Like the giant Ultron 7, or the Christmas-themed Santatron. And who could forget Ultron 15, the alcoholic one? Hard robot, all fun.
While most of these drones are relatively fragile compared to his own adamantium shell, Ultron has a veritable army on his hands, all of which are extensions of his will that he commands simultaneously.
He's conquered the whole world with these guys in 2 different future timelines. He's humiliated heavy hitters like Iron Man, Wonder Man, and Thor, flown across the entire galaxy just for fun, and tanked hits from Mjolnir like they were nothing. Plus, he's hella smart. I mean, Hank is Scientist Supreme, right? And Ultron was designed to grow smarter than him, so that must make him Scientist Ultra Supreme, with expertise.
He even assimilated a techno-organic race known as the Felix, and then used them to conquer the entire Kree Empire. This empire spans the Greater Magellanic Cloud, a real-life satellite galaxy near to our own Milky Way. It's made up of 1,000 planets across the diameter of 14,000 light-years, and Ultron conquered all of them in just a couple hours.
Damn, that's some dedication. I can't even bother to finish conquering all the anthills outside my shack.
With all that power and intelligence, Ultron was able to defeat the time-traveling warlord Kang, who pulled an army of superheroes across time to fight for him.
Kang lost so many times that the universe started to collapse from how many people he was time-hopping to fight Ultron. Man, is there anything that can stop this robot?
Well, sufficient heat can melt his internal circuitry, his adamantium is vulnerable to antimetal, and he is frequently defeated by computer viruses that can attack his AI directly.
He also never really got over the crazy he inherited from Hank. He once self-destructed in utter disbelief after reading the phrase, "Thou shalt not kill." Yeah, he's so murder-happy that just the thought of not killing people drove him to suicide. Yeah, guy's got problems.
No kidding. He wants to turn Hank's wife into a robot bride for himself. Hey, pretty mama. And wants to punish Hank for a cross-galaxy road trip, slaughtering billions just for fun.
Oh, wait, what was that bit about sex-botting his mom?
There aren't enough Pym particles in the world to shrink Ultron's issues, but, to be honest, that's probably what makes him so incredibly deadly.
But, like the man said, what doesn't kill you just makes me stronger.
In the year 21, humanity experienced a golden age of technology, all thanks to the discovery and replication of a certain blue android that could think and feel like a human. These replicated androids, or Reploids, were mass-produced and used at all levels of society.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Like it could have no possible negative repercussions at all. Unfortunately, there it is.
Instances of crime involving Reploids began to increase. Something seemed to be infecting them, turning these Reploids into violent mavericks who needed to be stopped.
So, Dr. Kane, the guy that started this Reploid shindig in the first place, created a robot so badass that it could hunt mavericks without getting infected himself. This Reploid was named Sigma.
Commander Sigma led the newly formed Maverick Hunters like an elite police force. Under his leadership skills, the number of overall casualties dropped to a whopping 0.
Things were going great. Well, until they found a mysterious red maverick in an abandoned laboratory who started eating Maverick Hunter ass for breakfast. Wait, that didn't come out right.
Sigma fought the fight of his life. And though he technically won, his victory was far more Pyrrhic than he or the rest of the world could ever have imagined.
So this red guy was called Zero, and turns out the thing infecting Reploids and turning them into Mavericks was a virus leaking from Zero's stasis pod. That also didn't sound right.
A final gift from that dastardly Dr. Wily.
Oh, dear God, the thing is hard on a hangover.
Fortunately, Sigma was designed to fight off such a virus. Unfortunately, this actually just made things worse. Instead of bending Sigma to its violent will, the virus merged with his programming, becoming one with his body and mind. Together, they both became stronger than before, with a whole new outlook on the world. Sigma began to look at humankind as detrimental to Reploid evolution, holding back their full potential.
Yeah, the big, strong metal people hate the dumb flashbacks, blah, blah. I hear it from you every time at the bar, Wiz.
When was the last time I went to a bar?
You don't remember?
No.
Mission accomplished. Sigma gathered an army of Mavericks, and when the time was right, his invasion began. But to pull it off, he needed some bitchin' robo-weapons. Sigma's favorite is his totally not copyrighted beam sword, but he also likes tearing through bots with his flying hammer, beam scythe, and the I'm not compensating for anything size Sigma blade.
He also wields an energy rifle, flamethrower, and a giant energy cannon.
For extra defense, he has a shield that can be tossed around the room like a boomerang. And hey look, he's like a Robo-Wolverine, only the metal's on the outside. Well, and inside.
With all these weapons and an army at his back, Sigma's operation was nearly successful. However, he was halted by the original android Dr. Kane found all those years ago, Mega Man X.
But Sigma just kept coming back, over and over and over and... Wait a minute, is that a new villain? Oh, never mind. He's just being controlled by Sigma. How the hell does he keep coming back? How many lives does this guy have?
Well, Sigma's body is just a shell. The true essence of Sigma lies in the merged and sentient Sigma virus. This virus can infect other robotic bodies, turning other Reploids Maverick or even completely transferring his consciousness. He's even built several enormous bodies just for this.
These extra robo-shells have all sorts of unique abilities. They can fly, teleport around, make walls of electricity, create force fields, shoot a giant laser beam of death, or make some blue balls. Ah, that's rough, buddy. I've been there.
Also, each of Sigma's Mavericks possess their own abilities that are...
Hey, look, Wiz, they're all animals. That one's a penguin, and that's an octopus, and that one's a Kawanger. Yeah, wangers are... what the f*** is a Kawanger?
It's just a messed up romanization of Kawagata, the Japanese word for stag beetle.
Yeah, I guess Kawanger sounds more badass.
With these forces, Sigma waged war with humanity for many, many years.
He's battled top-tier Maverick Hunters like X, Axel, and even that Zero guy. Wait, what's Guns N' Roses doing here?
Zero once survived an impact that broke apart the Eurasia space colony, which, when its pieces landed on Earth, created an explosion equal to at least 100 teratons of TNT. And Sigma is powerful enough to take out Zero in a single hit.
Damn! But Sigma's also managed to damage X, who once channeled enough energy through his body to destroy all of Japan. Suck it, Godzilla!
And many of Sigma's bodies could tank attacks from both X and Zero without much issue. That's impressive, considering X fought the General, whose body was tough enough to block a laser capable of destroying the Earth. The minimum amount of energy necessary to destroy a planet is known as its gravitational binding energy, which in the case of Earth is equivalent to a little over 63 sextillion tons of TNT.
That's 22 zeros. The number, not the robot. Plus, he's fast enough to keep up with Zero, the actual robot, not the number, who dodged Object Sunflower's beam of sunlight.
Actually, Sigma's likely even faster. Recall that Reploids like X, Zero, and Sigma were designed to be superior in every way to classic-era robots like Mega Man. That same Mega Man fought Duo, a space robot capable of flying between Saturn and the Earth within 35 seconds.
The only thing that could stop Sigma was the Mother Elf antivirus program. But if you don't take out the squishy computery center, he'll always come back.
So long as Sigma's still kicking, the dream of a world where humans and robots coexist is doomed to be a nightmare.
The time has come to prove your mettle against me. This fight will decide the fate of all Reploids.
Maniacal laugh.
All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
But first,
I'm excited for the battle.
I want to see what's going to happen. I mean...
and battle!
Make the next one highway.
Okay. I know who you got.
I'm still on Sigma, even though, damn, the other guys are pretty fucking powerful too. I don't know. But I still want Sigma to win.
Okay. Nick.
I think it's a great fight because both of them have the ability to come back no matter how many times there's a death. But I think Ultron can win probably in one of the battles. I think it's just like Ultron's overpowered as fuck.
Yeah,
That's kind of how I feel. Being able to go 100 something thousand light years. Yeah, that's something Sigma can do.
they talked earlier about how Sigma could, because Sigma was capable of fighting X, who fought the dude who traveled from Saturn to from Earth to Saturn in 35 seconds, and that's faster than the speed of light.
That's true.
So I'm actually, because of the numbers they pulled up, I'm probably going to pull for Sigma.
I'm hoping Sigma wins, but
Just,
we'll see.
just based on the numbers that I saw, because I didn't. Although contrary, this may be one of those battles they didn't give the numbers for Ultron because it would have made it too obvious. But I don't know how you can make it.
Made it pretty fucking obvious with their just going through Ultron stuff. He's overpowered as fuck.
So Sigma, I mean,
Sigma's pretty fucking powerful, but I wouldn't call it like overpowered as fuck.
fair enough.
I
guess we'll see.
Ultron's one of those characters that just like hear his shit and I was like a Ben 10 situation where like he comes up and it's just gonna come out like really.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. God, that made
actually
me
know
mad.
Ultron. Like, the only thing I knew about Ultron was from Avengers, Age of Ultron, and he wasn't like that in that movie, obviously.
No, Age of Ultron, he was nerfed pretty heavily.
Someone's like, oh, I didn't know he was RIP.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot like Silver Age Superman. Silver Age Superman was pretty much a god.
Yeah, there was nothing. It was like,
They had to do a rebirth.
The original overpowered superhero.
Yeah, literally. But anyway, the death battle is here. Let's see what happens. We have 2 for Sigma, 1 for Ultron. Let's see who wins.
I'll begin.
Well, there goes Wild.
Hello, everyone. I'll accept your unconditional surrender now. At the risk of sounding cliché. You and what army? Yeah! to powder. No reigns of illusion. You're all just puppets on strings.
Ooh, well.
Tear out your secrets and bathe in your oil.
Well.
Prepare to be extinguished. What gall. Lucky for me, I'm my own best backup.
Yeah.
You're more powerful, possibly more so than I. But this battle was never about the physical.
Oh. The virus. I didn't think about that. Because he's vulnerable to viruses.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
What's there? Everything belongs to me.
Finally got one again! Yes!
I guess that's one way to make friends.
Despite Sigma's deviousness and ferocity, he was fairly outclassed by Ultron's talents.
Sigma could scale to the general, who took a face full of sick.
I knew they were going to do this. They talked about numbers during Sigma, but they didn't during Ultron. And they used to do this all the time, and people started calling them out on it. They said, oh, you want to pick the winner? Just look at the one they didn't talk about numbers on. Yeah, that's how you can spot the winners of the old battles. Sorry if I ruined that for you, but
63 sextillion tons of TNT. But Ultron can withstand hits from Thor and his hammer, and we all know how awesome that thing is.
When Thor fought Gore the God Butcher, their battle created shockwaves powerful enough to shatter planets thousands of miles away. This could only be possible with a force equivalent to 682 septillion tons of TNT.
Jeez.
Over 10,000 times stronger than anything Sigma could survive.
okay.
And not only has Ultron frequently smacked Thor around like a toddler, Thor has had a really hard time trying to damage Ultron's adamantium armor. So Sigma's weapons couldn't either.
In terms of speed, Ultron flew across the galaxy in several months, putting him roughly 200,000 times the speed of light. That's leagues faster than Sigma, even if we scale him to Duo, who is 114 times light speed. And frankly, scaling to Duo through Mega Man in the first place is a bit capricious, as Duo didn't use his full potential in their fight.
Even with all that, it really didn't matter who could punch harder or move faster, because the real fight was between the Ultron AI and the Sigma virus.
Right, and while infection and possession was kind of the Sigma virus's thing, Ultron's AI was far more advanced. Recall how he enslaved an entire techno-organic race, to the point where he used them to conquer an empire spanning a whole satellite galaxy.
Yeah, the Phalanx are like Marvel's version of the Borg. Hell, that means Ultron basically Sigma'd a whole race of Sigmas.
It also helps that Ultron is as smart or smarter than Hank, the scientist supreme. Hank's even admitted as much, and he's smart enough to construct an infinitely sized mansion in a higher dimension of existence. Sigma was certainly a ruthless schemer, but nowhere near that level.
The only time Ultron was ever defeated by a virus was one specifically designed to bypass his defenses and leave him vulnerable to attack from the future and a bunch of other complicated stuff.
Sigma was a tenacious one, but Ultron was the stronger android, the tougher villain, and the deadlier virus.
It wasn't long before Ultron assimilated him.
The winner is Ultron.
Boo. Boo.
Yeah, I figured it happened, but
No, I'm not booing the
animations are pretty wild.
I'm not booing the outcome. I'm booing that horrible horrible pun that Boomstick came up with. Looks like he assimilated him. I'm like, oh god.
Wow, they look totally different than their characters. I figured it would be backwards almost.
Yeah, you figured he'd be Boomstick and he'd be Wiz.
Yep.
Well, yeah. I've been a big fan of Screw Attack. This'll date me, like, for those of you out there who've been following Screw Attack long enough. I have been fans of Screw Attack since the days of Handsome Tom and 8-Bit Mickey. If that doesn't date me on how old I am, I don't know what will. I mean, because from what I understand, Tom was out at Screw Attack before, like, right before 2010. So it just shows you how long Screw Attack was going for. Actually, now that I remember, Rooster Teeth actually killed Screw Attack, and now the channel is just known as Death Battle. That sucks. But, yeah, well, it is what it is. So, yeah.
Sigma's so cool.
I think Sigma is a much more well-crafted villain. Because he fits the world, and he has more general vulnerabilities, whereas Ultron has just been... He's
way different than Dr. Wily. Dr. Wily was just programming the shit, really kind of classic, just to take over the world. And whereas Sigma is a lot more in depth and has a lot of reasoning behind his actions and methods and stuff. And Sigma just proposed the ultimate badass villain because it wasn't just some giant; it was actually somebody that was just gonna fuck your shit up like the whole time. It's so anticipated all the way till. You know, because when I first played Mega Man X, you don't even know who Sigma is.
Yeah.
You don't see him for the first time until the end of the game. You're like, what is this dude?
Yeah, who is this motherfucker?
Yeah, it's like, you didn't really know much story about the games back in the day. You kind of just used your imagination. Then he started coming back every game, and it's like, didn't. Japan actually released an animated preview trailer for their game that didn't come out in America, and it gave them a lot more of the story behind it.
Oh,
so
okay.
Really cool. It never came out in the States. But.
Well, I mean, the whole thing with Sigma is that, you know, based on everything I played for Mega Man X, which I've only played the first two, to near either completion or near completion. And the Sigma battles were always a lot of fun. Always. And the thing with Ultron, I mean, I haven't played a game where you fight really against Ultron in it.
I don't really have any attachment to Ultron other than he's just that character in the movies.
Yeah, and when she's only in one movie.
And I'm not much of a comic reader, so I mean, I guess that's why I'm biased towards Sigma, because I'm like, those are some of my favorite games of all time. So
there's nothing wrong with it, Jake. Yeah. Nothing wrong with it at all. But yeah, that was the death battle. That was Ultron versus Sigma, Marvel versus Capcom. Yeah, the classic callback. And that's gonna do it for us here. We are the Renegades. You want to see the original video? Link is in the description down below. And if you want to see more from us, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, leave a like on the video. Also check out our Patreon and our Discord. We greatly appreciate it. And until next time, I'm Nate.
I'm Jacob.
We'll see you then, everybody. Peace out.